Hey guys, what's up? This is Boy 16, and today I got a bit of a rare power chair video for you guys, and this is the Merit's P120 power wheelchair, or power chair. And this is in the ultralight or travel size category. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys right now, this is a rare chair. I have not seen any of these chairs out in public, and I only found out about it because I traded one of my other power chairs for this power chair. So, it's very rare, but it's a very, very good power chair. And I do not know why Merit's discontinued this. I have never seen anyone using this power chair. But I'm going to go ahead and do just a general review of it and show you the ins and outs. So, to start with, this is a unibody ultralight power chair, which means the frame does not split apart. And a lot of you are probably thinking, well, that's not very convenient. You can't take it apart to make it easier to lift or to be able to make it take up less space. In reality, this chair is so well made with this unibody design. It feels so much more structurally sound than any of the breakdown power chairs that I've seen. Even breakdown mobility scooters or heavy-duty breakdown power chairs do not feel as solid as this does. And a benefit to the unibody design is that there is no flex, there's no slop, there's nothing that makes it feel rickety. This feels like a very well-made power chair, and that's because it is. But you're probably wondering, well, how do you get it to be flat, or how do you get it to be able to fit easily into a vehicle if it's not made well, or if it's not made to be broken apart in the middle or have the halves break? Well, I'll go ahead and do a disassembly video, or a disassembly for you, that way you can see that. Let me see if I can put this somewhere where you can get a good view of it. Maybe like right here. There we go. Forgive me if you don't exactly get the whole picture, but I'm going to try to make it as good as I possibly can. So, the way you take this chair apart is first power it off, and there is a 9-pin connector and a 3-pin connector in the back with this particular chair that uses this particular controller, and you just undo both of those and just pull up on them until they come in. They pop right out, and then you get the wire out of the way, and there is a pin in the back right where my hand is. You pull this pin out. That's a locking pin that keeps the chair from, or keeps the seat from coming off until you pull that pin. And there's a little lever right next to that pin. You push down, tilt the seat forward, and then pull it off. And then there you go. There's your seat. Put the seat down. And it does help if you have more than one person doing this, but I'm showing that one person can take this chair apart by themselves. And I have cerebral palsy and I cannot lift very much, so if I can do it, then it shows that this chair is very light for being how solid it is. And then the only other step you have for folding it is you have another pin you pull out, and then you have another lever right in the back. You pull that towards you, and then the whole frame kind of folds down flat, and your battery is the highest point on this chair whenever you have it in this configuration. But then you pull your footrest up, and then this is it, fully compact. So it's almost as small as some of those other folding power wheelchairs that do break apart or do fold up seemingly smaller than this does. But this is a very structurally sound power chair because of the way it's built. And simple to undo. You just put your foot plate back down, pull up on that little handle, make that go flat. And then you put your pin to hold that in place. And you get your seat. And there's two little notches on the frame rail there that you got to get in between the two little notches on the seat. So it does help if you have someone who can look for you, but it's fairly easy. Just line them up and then just simply line that seat part up and then just push down. It'll click. And then you put your pin back in to lock it into place. And then the seat is locked in place. It's not going to go anywhere. And then you just simply take your plug and plug it back in to the power port in the back. Then you unfold your seat, power chair on, and you're ready to go. So, not sure how much of that I actually got, but hopefully I got the whole thing. But something that I find really great about this chair for an ultralight, as opposed to a lot of the other like travel chairs or even some other ultralight power chairs, is that the battery actually locks in place. A lot of the other ones, they're just kind of, they sit there and they have like Velcro, or they have like little guides that hold them in place. This actually clips in place where the battery is held down. I cannot pull the battery out. So what you do to take the battery out is there's a plug that plugs into the battery right here. But make sure I turn it off. There we go. There's a plug right here that you turn, or you unclip to be able to take the battery out. And this is nice because there's no contacts. It doesn't rest on contacts like what you see on those Pride Mobility Go-Go scooters or the Go chairs, which, don't get me wrong, those are good chairs. But you don't have a plug like this. And I've heard of people that have had those chairs where if they go off-road or they go on a little bit of bumpy surface, that those batteries just kind of wiggle a little bit, and then they'll lose contact, and the chair will lock up on them and stop, and then they have to power it back on because it loses connection temporarily because of the contacts being jittery, because the battery isn't held down, and it doesn't have a fully solid connection like this does. So, very simple, just unplug that. And the battery, to get it out, there's this black little tab right here. You push down on that. It's a spring-loaded tab. I don't have a second hand free or a helper, so you just push down on that and then just pull the battery out after you have it unplugged. And the battery is it's a very compact battery, but it uses two of these lead-acid 18 amp hour CB 12180 batteries. It uses two of these, and the Go-Go's use them, and some other compact power wheelchairs and scooters use these batteries. But most compacts that are this size use the 12 amp hour batteries or the 10 amp hour batteries. I think the smallest I've ever seen is the 10 amp hour batteries on an ultralight like this is. But you get the benefit of having these for you to get longer range, and this chair has a 300-pound weight limit. So extremely good weight limit for an ultralight. Most have about like maybe a 200 to 250 pound weight limit, and they don't feel structurally sound. This chair, I could imagine, could probably hold a 400-pound person and not have any issues, but I would not push their recommended weight limit. But it's a very sturdy chair, and I don't think it would have much of a problem holding a 300-pound person. But when it comes to the battery here, this battery has something that I've never seen with any other power chair or mobility scooter, and that this battery has thermal, high temperature thermal switches for the charging circuit. It has two of them, one on each side of the case that are right up against the batteries that are in there. And the reason I absolutely love that is because I've had these lead acid style batteries get so hot that they'll melt the terminals or they'll bulge out, and I've even had one explode once. But this has high temperature switches in there, so if either one of them goes off, it will shut off charging to the battery, which is a really nice safety feature that I've never seen in a power chair. I've never even seen that in some of the multi-$1,000 quantum rehab power chairs, which I'm sure nowadays they probably do have stuff like that. But for an ultralight power chair, I've never seen that. And it's a really cool feature to have. And the battery, to put back in, when you put it back in, is simple. It's just like taking it out, except in reverse. You just push it in. There's 2 pins in the back, so it lines up with it. And then you get it in, push down, it clips in. It's in there now solid. It's not going to come out until you undo that clip again. So we're going to go ahead and plug it back in, and I'll give you guys a bit of a riding review of this chair now. And if you look, before I do that, if you look here, this has the same style motors and gearboxes and a lot of the big power chairs, like the power chairs that you would use for going off-road, or the power chairs that aren't meant to be travel chairs. This uses the same style motors as those. And a lot of the travel chairs use the inline motors that go parallel with the wheel, and those use a planetary gear set. But the benefit to these motors is that with those planetary gear sets on those other chairs, whenever you go over bumps, your power spikes are like this. Very jaggedy and very spiky. And what that does is it makes your motors heat up more, and it makes your battery drain faster, and it can even give you false indication on your joystick or on your power gauge of how much battery life you actually have. Like, your battery could be fine and fully charged, and you could be driving it, and it would go down and it would start flashing red, because those motors or that setup uses so many amps on those jittery surfaces, whereas this is a much more linear power draw. Like, if you go over bumps and stuff, there will be a bit of a power spike, but it'll only be like, instead of where, like you have with those other motors. Plus, these are extremely quiet. On this chair has the quietest set of motors and gearboxes of any power chair I've ever ridden. I do not hear the motors. You hear these tires more than you hear the motors. But I'm going to stop blabbing about it and show you it. So, we're going to get on here. And the nice thing with the front wheel drive is that it's very easy to go around corners. Whereas rear wheel drive, it's not as easy to go around corners if you're not experienced with it. I'm not sure if I already explained this, but the reason I like that this is front wheel drive is it's extremely safe. Because if you have your rear wheel drive, whenever you go up a hill, you have your weight on those motors, and there's a tendency for you to tip backwards and fall. And that's what happened to my grandpa with my Golden Light Rider Envy, is he fell backwards because he's going up the incline of his garage, and he fell backwards on it, and he never wanted to ride it again. With this chair, and I don't understand why they don't make more of these like this, is it has that front wheel drive. And with front wheel drive, it doesn't matter what kind of an incline you go up, what kind of a bump there is, you will lose wheel traction before you tip backwards because you don't have your power source in the back. So it's a very, very safe design. But go ahead and ride around a little bit here. I don't know if you can or cannot hear, but you can hear the squeaking from those tires, but you don't hear the motors. I'm going to go ahead and go as fast as I can. Well, you hear them a little bit at high speed, but the motors are extremely quiet on this power chair. And this chair is extremely fast. This is about like 4.5 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour, which for most ultralights, they only go about 3. Most of them only go about 3. I've had full big power chairs that do not go nearly as fast as this does. So, I'll go ahead and go into the grass and show you guys that this chair is also off-road capable. So I'm just gonna go in here lightly. Just don't want to scuff this one up because this is my favorite chair. I absolutely love this chair. When I'm off-roading with it, yeah, you can see it's a bit jittery, but it's not jarring. It's not super uncomfortable. It's not painful. I do not feel like this thing is flimsy, like it's gonna break. Like I can go off-road all day long in this and it's not gonna break. It's not as smooth as some, but this is not intended to go off-road. This is a travel power chair. This is meant to go on planes, cruise ships. It's meant to be used indoors. It's an ultralight. It's not meant to do this, but it does do this, and it does it really well for a ultralight power chair. So, well, we're going to go ahead and go back here. Whoop, kind of fell into a pothole there. I'm going to go ahead and go back up here, and we're going to finish off the video. But you can see it's a very easy, very responsive chair to ride, and it just feels really good. And I do not know why Merit's discontinued this. I have never seen another one of these chairs before. This is the only time I've ever seen this chair. And the only time I've ever seen it, because I traded it with another one of my power chairs. I traded for this one. So, but anyways, I wanted to give you guys a review of this chair. Merit's P120 power chair. It's a very, very good quality power chair. Very structurally sound. I would not be saying that if I didn't believe it to be true. This chair has probably the best build quality of any of the other chairs I've ever tried. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Stay cool, YouTube. Bye.